one could argue an Irish-American thing because that's how it came about. And this person definitely was not saying it in an insulting way. Like, who else is gonna let you know? I feel like it's kind of my job because I've seen it in comments and stuff. So today we're going to talk about 7 things that Americans just randomly came up with and called Irish that just aren't Irish at all, and I don't know where you got the idea that they were. And this stems from a recent TikTok trend. I'll just kick off the list with something called the Irish nose.
Oh, the summertime is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming. Time is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming.
You know this one's funny.
To be fair, this is the same demographic who are specifically focused on aesthetic niches such as hip dips, nail beds that are too wavy, and rib cages that poke out unevenly. So, take it with a pinch of salt. I am Irish and I have a nose. It's just a regular nose really, but like my friends have different noses. I never really noticed a particularly Irish nose before because there isn't anything that's distinctly Irish about an Irish nose. Historically, Ireland was invaded so much that our gene pool is hella fucked up. We have a little bit of Viking in us. We have a little bit of every nation in the world that invaded us in us, and that's why some people have big noses, some people have little noses and pointy noses and button noses. Everybody has different noses. Like stereotypically, you could say Irish people have brown hair and blue eyes, but noses never. There's no particularly Irish nose. I mean, it's Irish and it's my nose. That's about it. The next one is Irish twins, and I have actually found this to be a useful phrase until I discovered it's actually maybe not really complimentary. I definitely first heard the term Irish twins from an English person, and this person definitely was not saying it in an insulting way. Like, it was just being saying casually. They did not know it was derogatory either. And initially, like I said, it made sense to me. An Irish twin is basically a brother and a sister, or a brother and brother, sister and sister, whatever, born within 12 months of each other. So handy little phrase until you kind of learn the reason behind it. The term started in the 19th century and was an anti-Irish Catholic slur. It was aimed at Irish immigrant families with lots of kids. I don't think I need to go into details, but Catholicism believed for a really long time that there was only one method to not having a baby.
The following video is for educational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Up until the mid-80s, you could not get contraception in Ireland. And even then, until the mid-90s, there was loads of provisos that went along with that. You had to be over 18, I think at one stage you had to be married, and nonetheless you'd be asking the pharmacist who knew everybody in your town, including your mom and dad, so it was like very shameful for a long time. I remember my parents telling me that when they first got married, something they used to pick up in Northern Ireland when they'd go over the border was contraceptives, because you didn't really know everybody there and it wasn't so looked down on, because a lot of Northern Ireland was Protestant and they weren't so anti-contraception. Now, I've mentioned before, Irish people don't really get offended by a lot of things, so saying Irish twins won't really offend Irish people. It's usually said jokingly, not with any malicious intent, but most Irish people have never heard the phrase at home. It's just not an Irish phrase. The next thing is bagpipes. Now, I get why people are confused about this. People think bagpipes are the iconic sound of Celtic pride, but the peeps in the know will know bagpipes are actually Scottish. Ireland does have traditional woolen pipes. They're more low and mournful, and actually I've heard they're more difficult to play, not that I've actually tried to play either. But the loud war pipes Americans usually associate with Ireland are the Scottish ones. The piping styles are distinct, and because the woolen pipes are more difficult to track down people who play them en masse, a lot of times Scottish bands are imported to America to play in parades. So you're forgiven if you think the bagpipes are Irish, because they're not. Does that one shock you? Let me know below in comments. Also, do subscribe. Otherwise, the next time you go to an important event, you're gonna get sweat stains on your shirt and everybody's gonna see them. So subscribe. or else. The next one is definitely a little bit controversial, but I just want to clue you in, because if you didn't know, this isn't a thing you should say in Ireland or to Irish people. Who else is gonna let you know? I feel like it's kind of my job because I've seen it in comments and stuff. It's the term up the rat.
We're not supposed to talk about it.
Here's an extremely oversimplified explanation and very brief history lesson if you're not aware, keeping it unbiased. So the IRA, short for the Irish Republican Army, was originally a paramilitary group that formed in 1919. They weren't specifically part of the Easter Rising in 1916, though many of the men involved later joined. The original IRA came about afterwards, and it wasn't an official government force. They operated separately using guerrilla guerrilla tactics to fight for Irish independence from British rule. In 1922, Ireland became the Irish Free State, which was technically part of the British Commonwealth. It wasn't until 1949 that Ireland officially became the Republic of Ireland, fully putting constitutional ties with Britain. The IRA most people think of today is the version active during the Troubles, a period of conflict from the late 1960s to the late 1990s. This was mostly in Northern Ireland, where one faction of the IRA used violence in an attempt to end British rule in the north and unify the entire island into a single independent republic. That period saw bombings, shootings, and decades of violence that affected thousands on both sides of the conflict, nationalist, Republican, and Unionist loyalists. Eventually, the Good Friday Agreement was signed in 1998, which was basically the peace deal. Under this, Northern Ireland remained part of the UK, while the Republic of Ireland stayed independent. Both are on the island of Ireland, but they remain separate political entities. Ultimately, Ireland and Britain agreed that most of the island will become independent, with the exception of 6 counties in the north, which remain part of the UK. These 6 counties make up Northern Ireland, which today is still under British jurisdiction. The peace deal didn't magically make everyone agree, though. That's when the original IRA fractured into multiple splinter groups, each with their own stance and often not getting along. The original IRA doesn't exist anymore in any unified form. These days, up the rash, short for up the IRA, is complicated. To some, it's a political slogan. To others, it's seen as glorifying violence. For most Irish people, it's something your drunk cousin might yell in a pub without really thinking. Today, most people are far more worried about the insane cost of living in Ireland, the housing crisis, and whether their boss will let them work from home than they are focused on reunification right now. So for now, yeah, that pin is still in the discussion.
Americans sometimes repeat it thinking it's cheeky or nationalist, especially if they've seen it in memes or songs or movies depicting old Ireland. In Ireland, however, it's super politically loaded. It's not something people just say. Definitely not a casual expression. It's not like a cute rebellious phrase outsiders might imagine. It's one of those things that people might say in a certain group if they're very certain of who they're talking to. If you say it in front of Irish people, it'll also show us you're kind of ignorant, because the Ra is not any one thing these days anymore. That is a group that has been divided and divided into subdivisions, and all the different groups don't like each other. So if you say that term, I'm gonna be like, well, which one? Which one are you talking about? Don't shoot the messenger, just letting you know. On a lighter note, the next one is corned beef and cabbage. I mentioned this one recently in a video and people were very shocked. But corned beef and cabbage is an American thing. Maybe one could argue an Irish American thing, because that's how it came about. But it's not an Ireland Irish thing. Irish people traditionally ate bacon and cabbage, rashers and cabbage. Pork in Ireland was cheaper and much more readily available until the Irish went to America, and there it was expensive and hard to come by. And so the Irish immigrants substituted bacon for, let's hear it, corned beef, and they got it from the Jewish butchers, mostly in New York, and an Irish American staple became a big thing. But if you come to Ireland and you're looking to try corned beef and cabbage, you might get it in some real tourist catering places, but it's not a thing that we would eat, bacon and cabbage. And finally, the number one thing, and I've said this on the channel before, because I find it a really useful term, it's the Irish goodbye. That is not an Irish thing. It didn't come from Ireland. An Irish goodbye means leaving a party without saying anything to anybody. And the idea behind it was that in Ireland you'd have so many people to say goodbye to, because everybody knows everybody else, that it'd take you another hour to get around the party, and that is true. But mostly we just suck it up and say goodbye to everybody. The introvert side of me does like the idea of just ghosting and leaving, and I have done it. Irish people do it. But the phrase came from the Americans. We didn't come up with it, you guys did. And to this day, a lot of Irish people are still baffled when they hear it. Baffled, good word. Let me know below in comments if any of these surprised you. Shout out today to a couple of patrons.
Our first shout out today goes to Justin Bloomberg, who's been supporting the channel for over 2 years now. Justin is a man of many talents, just one of which is that he is a huge music aficionado. He's been a big help guiding me with some of the reaction choices, and this is a picture of his new music recording desk. I suggested he bling out the desk, but we will see, and I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Justin for everything he does behind the scenes supporting the channel. Our second shout out is Dave Wilford and Kimura, wishing everybody a very happy 4th of July. Look at Kimura in his little outfit. Dave says, have fun at the fireworks shows and cookouts. Just make sure to save Kimura a cheeseburger. Thank you so much, David. And our final shout out comes from Jason Moyer, who has a yearly tradition of thanking William Carrier. He was an American engineer who invented air conditioning in 1902. On behalf of hundreds of millions of people around the world, God bless you, sir, says Jason. It sure is hot, and I am also very thankful.
That's it for today. See you guys on the other side. Bye.